Ever wondered how to capture the perfect wildlife shot? Welcome to the fascinating world of wildlife photography, a realm where skill meets nature. The challenge here is to strike the perfect balance. It's about freezing the action of a bird mid-flight, capturing the sharpness in a wolf's eyes, or rendering the soft glow of dawn in a deer's habitat. It's a dance with light, a test of patience, and a journey in understanding your subject. Let's dive into the manual settings that will get you started on your wildlife photography journey. First up, the mode, manual or shutter priority. The decision is yours to make. The manual mode allows you the freedom to tinker with all settings, letting you craft the perfect shot. It's like being the conductor of your own orchestra. On the other hand, shutter priority mode is like having a reliable co-pilot. It offers a helping hand when things get fast-paced, letting you control the motion while it takes care of the rest. Remember, manual mode gives you complete control, but shutter priority can be a lifesaver in fast-paced situations. Next, let's talk ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. First off, the ISO. Set it between 400 and 800. This gives you good image quality, but don't be afraid to crank it up in low light conditions or when you need faster shutter speeds. Now, let's tackle the aperture. Choosing between f4 to f8 allows you to isolate the subject from the background. But remember, the wider the aperture, the shallower the depth of field. So adjust accordingly based on your desired depth of field. Finally, the shutter speed. Aim for between 1/500th to 1/1000th of a second. This freezes the motion of wildlife. But remember, the faster the subject, the faster the shutter speed needs to be. So, to recap, a moderate ISO for image quality, a wide aperture for depth of field, and a fast shutter speed to freeze motion. A moderate ISO, a wide aperture, and a fast shutter speed. These are your keys to sharp, well-exposed wildlife shots. Moving on to white balance, focus mode, and metering mode. The right white balance is crucial for an accurate color representation. Auto white balance often does the trick, but don't hesitate to adjust it based on the lighting conditions. Now let's talk about focus. Wildlife is always on the move, which is why continuous autofocus, or AFC, is your best bet. This mode tracks the subject, keeping it in focus even when it's bounding, swooping, or slithering away. Lastly, we have the metering mode. Evaluative or matrix metering is your go-to here. This mode assesses the entire scene for correct exposure, ensuring that your shot is neither too bright nor too dark. Remember, the aim is to freeze the action, maintain sharpness, and work in varying lighting conditions. With the right white balance, focus mode, and metering mode, you are one step closer to capturing the perfect shot. Lastly, let's consider some additional elements and tips. Stability can significantly improve your wildlife shots, especially when you're using longer telephoto lenses. A beanbag or a tripod can help you achieve that stability and reduce the risk of blurry images. Now, let's move on to some practical tips. Observing the behavior of wildlife can be a game changer. By understanding their routines and patterns, you can anticipate their movements and be ready to capture that perfect shot. Also, consider using camouflage and moving slowly. This way, you can avoid startling the animals and ruining your chance for a good photo. Focusing on the eyes of the wildlife can also help you create a compelling and sharp image. It's a simple trick that can make a world of difference in your shots. Lastly, always practice ethical wildlife photography. Maintain a respectful distance and remember, we are the visitors in their home. Remember, the key to great wildlife photography is not just about the right settings. It's about patience, observation, and respect for the wildlife. Let's sum up what we've learned today. Wildlife photography is an intricate dance of technique and timing. Your camera's settings play a crucial role in capturing the perfect shot. Start with selecting the right mode, either manual or shutter priority, to gain complete control or manage quick movements. Next, balance your ISO between 400 and 800, adjusting as needed for lighting conditions and shutter speed. Your aperture, ranging from f4 to f8, helps isolate your subject and manipulate depth of field. A fast shutter speed between 1/500th and 1/1000th of a second freezes the motion of wildlife. To ensure accurate color representation, adjust your white balance based on the lighting conditions. Use continuous autofocus for moving subjects and evaluative metering for proper exposure. And don't forget, additional stability can be obtained through a beanbag or a tripod. Remember, Wildlife photography often involves unpredictable conditions, so be prepared to adapt your settings based on the specific environment and the behavior of the animals you're photographing.